topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debbie Changes Lives. I'm Debbie, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root cause of their health issues and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I simply make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. And very few people have been able to release 70 pounds. And I actually was able to do that. And I had a health transformation, and I've kept fit and trim for over a decade. I certainly have staying power. I even became a half marathon runner when I never ran before my whole entire life due to foot problems. And I did start running at the age of 51. Mindset is the key for lasting change. And as a certified holistic health coach, I revitalize people's lives in different areas of health and mindset. I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing your health, releasing weight efficiently if needed, and enhancing your mindset. You'll see and feel the differences with my coaching programs. And ask me about my programs at my complimentary consultation button of my link tree, which is Debbie Changes Lives, DebiChangesLives, as in victory, es.com/linktree, LINKTREE. And when you do, I'll guide you to a better, healthier life. Surprise! I have a Black Friday special, 50% off of my private coaching for Taking Your Body Back, which is a 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you're going to be utilizing a new version of you for your success. You have time now to ask me questions on my complimentary consultation button that I just told you about, and you need to sign up by November 30th because that's when the special ends. Stay tuned for more details. And there's so many different approaches that you can utilize in order to find needs a person needs for their health. And during my essential oil training, I've learned a little bit about iridology. It's amazing that people with brown eyes have blood imbalances, circulatory problems, mineral deficiencies, gallbladder issues, and liver issues, hormonal imbalances, as well as weaknesses in the gastrointestinal tract. And blue-eyed people may have lymphatic issues with weakness in skin, respiratory issues, urinary system, mucous membranes, kidney, and adrenals. Mixed eyes have a whole different set of issues. Today, I have Dr. Cara Ringland. She's an iridologist and naturopath and a registered Thai massage instructor, a therapist and instructor. And she's also an author and a speaker. She's a leading iridologist for over 24 years in the field of naturopathy, and she promotes ancient and modern natural traditions, herbalism, detoxification from common and chronic conditions, and also as an instructor of Thai massage. She teaches her clients practical self-care home routines to catalyze their diet and lifestyle. She draws from her wealth of wisdom of reversing a multiple of personal adverse health conditions and offers hope for those who may be suffering from dis-ease. She has a new book, Awaken and Become a Tree of Life. Always be cleansing. She gives some building blocks of self-care, highlighting diet and lifestyle to optimize your wellness. in a similar vein where I help people optimize their health and lifestyle. Today, we'll be discussing eye-opening insights with wellness of iridology. So let's welcome Dr. Cara Ringland, iridologist, naturopath, and a registered Thai massage instructor. Dr. Carla, welcome to my show.
Hello, hello. So nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Debbie. It's such an honor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so fun. So, I'm really happy that you're here too.
Yes.
What is iridology?
Well, iridology is considered the study of the iris of the eye. It has its ancient roots all the way back to the Chaldeans. And we've discovered that there were much more documented studies on it starting in the 1800s. Ignaz von Pexley, who was in Hungary, in Budapest, was a monk who started drawing. At the same time, a doctor by the name Nils Liljeqvist was also starting to make similar drawings of the eyes, which is the map that we have started to use today, all stems from a lot of this research. And Dr. Bernard Jensen, who's considered the father of modern iridology, was the first to standardize a reflex map for eyes, which is much like the hands and the feet in reflexology.
Yes.
And so when we look at the iris, we look at the colors, the patterns, the textures that are all woven into the fabric of the colored part of the iris and associate to that map. So you're able to see basically the genetic integrity and the gifts we've inherited from our heritage, especially when it comes to our digestive system, how we process foods, assimilate foods, and all the way out to our lymphatic system and our skin. So, and we can really do a non-invasive assessment of your wellness. In iridology, it's more the iris itself as a genetic thumbprint. If you look at the white of the eyes, it's more of the current inflammation. So when we see a lot of red veins, that also is a great indicator to what's going on in the body. And I, as a traditional naturopath, I'm not licensed to diagnose or prescribe. I am here as a doctor in the term of a teacher and a health educator. So I just help translate the information. And I appreciate it working with my clients who also do a lot of their functional medicine blood work, so we can see how the body is communicating with its biofeedback and come up with a wellness plan that's tailored to their needs.
Yeah, I just found it fascinating when I did my essential oil training. They've learned all this stuff. I mean, I didn't learn as much detail as you have, but I got insights of, the different health conditions someone can have, which makes it easier when you create dynamic lens. So that's why it's really important to know the eye color. Well, I guess I kind of said something beneficial, but why is iridology beneficial?
Well, you pegged it. Getting to know just even what your eye color means is so significant because it kind of maps out your constitution, your composition, and how you handle processing your foods and eliminating wastes ultimately. Okay. And so, as you stated, the brown eyes deal with more of blood congestion. The lymphatic or the blue eyes have lymphatic congestion. And then the mixed iris, the biliary, deal with a lot of digestive issues. And you can see that through diet, lifestyle, supplementation, you can really support any of those potential weaknesses and maintain those strengths that we have inherited from our grandparents and all the way up our family heritage. Because the thing is as much as we've inherited genetics from our family, we've actually inherited their lifestyles oftentimes that were the very reason why those genetics became imbalanced from poor diet and lifestyle or hygiene. And especially throughout history, we've all been exposed to different forms of trauma, poor food, diet. So now is the time where we get to become aware, and through the eyes, it's our own user's manual. We get to see how we function individually, because a lot of natural health has big terminology and blanket statements, which indeed oftentimes work. However, each person is so individual that things like dairy or eggs or meats may digest differently for each individual, and needs to be in consideration when putting them onto a health plan that's optimal for their tailored wellness.
And doesn't it also relate to how your microbiome is and how much good and bad bacteria that you have in your system? And it all starts with from your mom, who gives you the good and bad bacteria, depending if it's a vaginal birth or C-section. But my whole point is they start giving them that fingerprint of health in the microbiome.
Mhm.
And I guess it's also, like we said in the past, what our moms ate, as well as, the environments that they were brought up in.
Mhm. Yes, the emotional stress. And that's what we see in the eyes actually can really be influenced in the structural pattern. Is we see the effects of stress pretty significantly, where not only for the individual, you can see how stress has perhaps changed some of, or increased some of their markings, but we've seen it from mother to child, and seeing the genetics show the replication and showing a more advanced sign of how the stress has affected the child because of the mother's conditioning.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And in the like terms, we have seen it reverse. So
Okay.
we've also seen conscious parents who've taken the time to do wellness plans while they're preparing for pregnancies, or and birthing children that are showing a reduction of signs that show stress. And we're also seeing young parents taking children and turning their diets around who've been having symptomatic issues, and reversing behavioral issues based on looking at their eyes to see how they can support them nutritionally for optimizing their behavior, how to approach them, because we also see emotional patterns in the iris. You can
No,
see how people handle stress and process information.
yeah, that's really interesting, because I just actually met somebody just recently who's, I don't know, she's beyond the first trimester, because she says, I just got over the morning sickness. She's having her third child.
Okay.
And I was expressing to her, it's really important that you Nutrify right now, because you'll be giving that to your newborn child, and they're going to be healthier if you do that. So, I guess so it's really beneficial for her to maybe to have an Eyenalysis, right? Just
Mhm.
see what she can do. That's wonderful.
Yes. It's education for you to, when you get that user's manual, you have so much more choice.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to get one. I've been thinking about it, and I'm going to reach out to you. We just need to figure that out.
Wonderful. I look forward to it.
Okay. Now, when you can you describe your background in iridology? How you got
Yes.
started?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I was raised and homeschooled by an herbalist, and so I had a natural health background. My grandfather was a doctor, a celebrated doctor in Nevada, and so I learned a lot about the allopathic traditions alongside of natural traditions, and found myself looking, because of my own health conditioning. I had hives as a child. So I met my first naturopath when I was 12 years old, seeking remedies. And that sent me on a mission of education, of learning how to read my labels, take care of my body, and going and seeking natural therapies, because unfortunately, the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. So My dad was a nurse. We were really, my grandmother was a nurse. So it was a big part of our life was seeking allopathic care. Well, then flash forward into the future, I was about 21 years old. I saved all my money to go see a naturopath that I had heard about after suffering an illness that winter. And when I met her, her and I, that was Dr. Carol Geck. She was the owner of the Lifestyle Transformation Health and Research Clinic in Bonners Ferry, Idaho. And when I met her, she asked me to become her student. And we had this really strong bond, and I started studying under her and was a clinical intern for almost 3 years with her, where we did microscopy alongside of iridology and sclerology. I did my certificate training with Dr. Ellen Tart Jensen, who is the daughter-in-law of Dr. Bernard Jensen and carries his legacy. And my teacher, Dr. Carol Geck, had also studied with him in the health ranch in Escondido, California.
Oh.
So I feel so honored. I got to learn from two of his dear students, very personal, and especially with Ellen. She's become the dean of the International Iridology Practitioners Association and is continuing to be my instructor. She actually wrote the foreword to my book as well. So it's been an incredible honor to work as an iridologist for 24 years. We started with 35 millimeter film. And now we've got all these digital cameras, and it seems like this world is meeting. There's so much research going on with in the field of iridology around the world now today. And so it's a great time to be a participant.
Yeah, because like you said, it can change, and there could be little dots moving or disappearing or whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
in your iris, and like you said, less, like bloodshot eyes and things like that is a good sign.
Yes.
That you're getting better. So now, who can benefit from eye analysis?
Well, we look at this as, again, getting your user's manual. So when it comes from the field of iridology, we would love to see everyone get one, especially when they were born, to be able to prevent illnesses and maintain wellness. It is especially helpful for people who are having conditions, problems, like I said, chronic or common issues like sniffles and colds, all the way up into degenerative diseases. We've been able to assist people with their diet and lifestyle so that they can support themselves even while receiving allopathic care. So I always love to include hybrid options for people, especially during allopathic treatment regimens. It's very supportive to, food is our first medicine. So we're restoring the body through our nutrition. And, as you said, when our eyes are bloodshot, we can see when children have fevers. We can see when people are sad, lonely, tired, down. Really, what I see iridology is helping people restore the light within their eyes and to bring that spirit back within themselves so they feel empowered with their physical health, which also illuminates their cells literally and figuratively, and they can become more activated in life. So I have 20-year-old children who I've helped them with their eyes and their friends to just understand how they move and how they work. And I love working with people with chronic conditions and have had great successes with supporting them through big changes. And then, of course, my favorite is mothers and families and young children.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. When you were mentioning everything you were mentioning, it's interesting that you have such a vast range of people that you can talk to, and that it's really, diet is really important in what you put in your mouth. Also, stress. But the thing that gets to me is that some people say sometimes I look really glowing. And that's because the energy source in me, the energy body, is doing really well. And I've talked to a lot of acupressurists and, other people that do muscle tuning and things like that. And they said that, you can have a electronic blockage in your body, like, that's stopping your body, from functioning properly. And that's pretty much inflammation. It could be inflammation causing that, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's important to try to release that inflammation, because I call it noise. Because it comes from different areas of the body. It may be pain from a broken foot, which I broke my foot, or it could be a digestive thing that you're having going on. I just call it noise, and we need to bring down the noise so that your body can sing again, I guess is the way I put it at the moment. But that's the whole point, is that you want to be healthier. You want your body to run more efficiently, because if you have a broken circuit in a car, your car's not going to run very well, right? And right now I have an engine light on my car, and I forgot to tell my husband about, so that came up to my mind. But that's my whole point, is you really need to pay attention to what's going on with your body.
Yes.
Now, do you have any interesting cases that you've worked on recently that you may want to share?
Oh, well, I do have one case in particular that comes to mind. And this one was really significant because we had some medical testing that was going alongside of the work that I was doing. And my client started working with me before getting all of her diagnostics. So it was a beautiful experience because I took the eye photos and saw the whites of the eyes and suggested getting some testing done. When that testing came back, it indicated that there were cysts that were potentially in the breast tissue, as well as some growths on the spinal column in the lower sacral area. And so the doctors ordered an oncologist and contrast, and she expressed, hey, can I wait, for a few months? I'm going to do some treatments. And we worked out a wellness plan and a protocol that is utilizing much of Dr. Bernard Jensen's tissue cleansing techniques and a series of essential oil treatments and castor oil and some emotional release, and really worked at it from every angle. And after 3 months, my client went in to get the follow-up contrast and MRI, and they could not find any of the growths that they had seen on camera just 4 months prior. So that one was one of the most profound that I personally was involved with, and it was so beautiful to have all of the documentation.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There's a lot of procedures that you didn't have to go through, because you helped her, nutrify her body, and the body, created cells that helped her get healthier.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Love that story. Do you want to explain? We can talk about another story before we talk about your book. We have some time. So, is there any other things you want to share?
Well, the other one I was thinking of is, we've had a lot of clients, especially with the digestive issues, and and we've also been seeing even more coming up is eye issues. So we've been dealing more with glaucoma and eye pressure due to screen use, I think, is a large portion of this kind of irritation. Yes, and so yeah, that's the one that I have one client in particular that I'm working with actually, and we've been working together the last few months, and he contacted me just yesterday and was expressing, because through the eyes I was able to see a lot of his issues are actually digestive related. And all of the medical tests are saying that there's nothing really wrong with the eyes. That there's, and this is something I've talked with people about, is the connection with the liver to eyesight, because when the lever is congested, the hepatic artery actually creates pressure on the optic nerve and can create blurry vision and issues with vision. And so we've got him doing some new nutritional things, as well as I'm a big proponent with being a Thai massage instructor of body work. And so I've got him on essential oil treatments right now that he's doing at home on himself, as well as he's going to be getting Chini Song, which is abdominal massage, and starting to work through some of the trauma, because again, we see the emotional component with most of these complex cases.
Now, what about dry eyes? Is that due to the liver too?
It can be liver. A lot of the times the dry eye is mostly due to, I find, plugged tear ducts. So due to congestive issues, the sinus areas are directly connected. So when we have, I strongly encourage people to do neti pot to keep the fungus, bacteria, and virus down that could be in the sinus areas. And then also doing a lot of silica and your electrolytes to help promote eye health. And there are some eye drops that are out that have MSM and eye bright in them, which help to heal the eye with from the inside out. Now, one thing I have found that's been helpful, especially with this client in particular with his eye conditions, is he'll put a drop of peppermint essential oil into the palm of the hand. You rub your palms together and then place them over the eyes, not touching the eyelid, but kind of creating a little tent over the eye. And then you open your eyelids back and flutter them. And that helps get the peppermint into that chamber. And he actually started getting some tear. And that for him was like, this is like the holy grail. I haven't had a tear in months. So that was a beautiful opportunity thing.
So if someone has high blood pressure, could you use spearmint essential oil instead for the same purpose?
Spearmint is good. Cypress is really good because it dilates. Yeah, it circulates. So it dilates the blood vessels and will help with the blood pressure. With blood pressure, a lot of it is stress nowadays. We have a lot of people with heightened blood pressure due to stress. Magnesium is actually one of the best options for getting blood pressure down.
What I'm saying, would you use cypress to do that eye thing too, for the dryness? That's what I was asking.
Oh, for the dry eye?
Would spearmint be better? Because, peppermint has a tendency to not be so great for people with high blood pressure.
Oh, understood. Okay, thank you. I misunderstood. Mm-hmm. Yes, spearmint would work good, as well as helichrysum is one of the best oils for repairing nerve in the eyes, as well as lavender is good. Okay. But the helichrysum is one of the best.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because people do have, if they have high blood pressure, I was trained, peppermint is not for them.
Okay.
So, but
wonderful.
Those are really interesting stories. I really enjoyed it, and we may have time for later on. But let's talk about your book right now.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, it's Awaken and Become a Tree of Life, Always Be Cleansing, which Dr. Christine Maxwell, who co-authored the book with me, brought that term to the table, and we saw it's the ABCs of self-care. So in this book, we really demonstrate the basics, the building blocks of your wellness, which is down to hydration. Cleansing is considered, we've also we created more terminology. So terminology of cleansing means taking care of your housekeeping every day. So when it comes to using your alimentary and your elimination channels, making sure your bowel is moving, your kidneys are eliminating, you got your skincare going so that your lymphatic vessels are able to release properly. And then we use the word detoxification as more of your seasonal cleansing. So that's where we often use more drawing agents and more targeting for the bowel care. Now, currently, I actually have been doing a hybrid cleanse again for this season, and I wanted to share it with you because it's using some of the longevity products that I've really found helpful. And in this book, I use Dr. Bernard Jensen's tissue cleansing recipes predominantly, alongside of Dr. Stanley Burroughs, who did the Master Cleanser way back in the 20s. These guys are the founders of a lot of the cleansing practices that we all know today. Now, what I did with this one is I decided I'm going to experiment, and I do the cardio beets mixed with the apple cider vinegar. And I find that it's a really beautiful drink, and it's so tasty, and it's basically substituting for drink one in my recipes in the Awaken and Become book. So instead of honey, I'm using the cardio beets, and I'm loving it because it has the beets and the tart cherry. It's also sweetened with stevia, so it keeps the sugar content low. I do a little bit less, like a half dose, but I do it 3 times to 5 times per day. Wow. And then I follow it with the second drink. And the second drink, I have been using psyllium seed husk, equal parts of psyllium seed, and tangy tangerine.
Which one?
I like I think it's the 2.0. It's the, yeah.
Okay.
And I love it because it's got the flavor, and usually the recipe called for apple juice in the original recipe. So this instead has the tangy tangerine, which has those 90 essential nutrients.
Yes.
So you feel really nourished while cleansing. And you drink those 2 drinks back to back 3 to 5 times a day. So I've been really enjoying that. And I feel like it's really helping me prime my liver through the beet juice. And if you like, you can add true greens to the second drink with the psyllium seed and the tangy tangerine to get your green drink in.
Okay. Somebody asked me, can you use real sugar? And why don't you explain that?
I choose not to use real sugar, mostly because of the fact that there's a lot of diabetes and pancreatic conditions in my family heritage. Sugar is sugar. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not. It has glucose, which will spike the blood sugar. So if it's not diabetic friendly, I usually don't consume it. I often use monk fruit extract, because I don't like stevia as much because of the little bit of an aftertaste. However, in the cardio beets, for some reason, I really like it because of that tart cherry in it. It gives it a nice balance.
But it's also the way the stevia is processed. Different stevias taste differently. And I prefer monk fruit myself.
Mm-hmm.
I actually bake with monk fruit. So
me too.
And it's interesting. It's more sweeter than sugar. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't give you that, kick to your blood sugar. So I really love monk fruit.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to get off sugar as much as possible. And that also means carbohydrates. So, reducing the bread, the grains, for me, I stay off of all gluten. I try to stay very close to whole foods. And especially for any carbohydrates like millet or anything, you need it to be a whole grain. And of course, millet's a seed, but you need all the fiber. And so again, if it's not diabetic friendly, then it actually has a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of glucose in it.
Yes, and plus gluten, it just, shortens the villi in your intestinal tract, so you have less surface area, and it makes it really hard to digest the foods you eat. and you
Yeah.
end up eating more. You want your villi to be nice and tall. And I call it, it's kind of like a sea anemone that carpets your whole digestive system. And so, because it's really absorbing what you eat. So that's
Mhm.
really important. Um, do you quickly have another case study you want to talk about?
Oh, well, let's see. Let me think. It's the one that's coming to mind is again having a lot of back pain issues. So working with, of course, because I do a lot of body work with people.
Mhm.
So oftentimes I can see if there's a nutritional issue that's going on that's affecting the back pain. And so looking at the eyes, this client of mine could barely walk. Okay. And I went over to his house because of an emergency call, brought my scope so I could look at his eyes, and it was obvious that he had liver congestion. He also was not eliminating properly. And so I did some essential oil treatments to his back. We worked with him and got him on broth and and alkalizing drinks with the lemonade at that time I was giving to him. And I was so surprised because within the week he was back to feeling in his body. And this was the turning point on a bigger level that it's been a number of years now, but that was the turning point for him where he realized he needed to change his diet. And now he's lost over 100 pounds, and because he was also really heavy, and he has exercised, changing his lifestyle, and he's living his best life right now, and so good to witness.
And what do you think of acupressure? I'm learning. Well, I know two different people that are teaching me different things, but I'm really, fascinated by it. And with muscle tuning, I use this book called Touch for Health.
Yes, I know that book.
Yeah. Okay. And pretty much what you're doing is you're finding an area on a muscle and trying it to get it to reconnect and also to release. I have a C1 problem, so I'm working with my C1.
Okay.
And so they showed me what to do and do, do the things I do, and I was amazed. Even I didn't feel it right away. The end of the day, I did. And with the acupressure, I learned from somebody else. I was able to clear my sinuses. I was able to release a headache because of acupressure points. Now with Thai massage, I'm sure you're working with acupressure points, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, what's beautiful with the acupressure points is activating them with essential oils. So even if you don't really know what you're doing, you can get a lot of effective work by putting an essential oil on a particular area. Now, and especially like working with people with sinus conditions, you can relieve a lot of pressure with these points here, as well as along the back of the occiput, and they're activating the electricity right there. So you're really just starting to reconnect those points, right?
Right.
Oh, and I have one other case I wanted to bring to mind. Speaking of sinuses, he had severe sinus problems and was going to an ENT that kept looking in there. They kept doing all these drops. He was doing spray all the time, moved into his ears. He was having hearing difficulties. They were going to do an MRI. They thought he had some kind of head trauma, something going on. I looked at his eyes and I was like, I think you have a toothache. I think you have teeth problems. He's like, oh, no, I don't think that. He ended up at the dentist. He had 3 massive abscesses that were causing all of his sinus and ear congestion and pain. And not one doctor put the two together because dentistry isn't part of the medical field, right? So it's like,
it makes a lot of sense to me.
right? It was amazing. I mean, he'd been chasing this around for, over a year, and it was getting to his, where you're starting to feel kind of like, gosh, I can't get relief.
Yes.
And so with that redirection, he went and got all of his teeth repaired and all the swelling's down. And yeah, he's totally feels amazing now.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure that, when it comes to, certain vertebrae out of alignment, there's certain things that you would mention too, just like the muscle tuners, lady that I started a course and I put it on pause and I'm going getting back into it again.
Yay.
And it's amazing because when I broke my foot, it's what kind of stopped me, slowed me down. And but things that she recommended me to do, she goes, "Are you willing to do this?" You might think it's woohoo, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll do it." But what she, told me to do was fantastic. It gave me more circulation in my foot, and I was just a much happier camper.
Yeah.
And my dog.
Well, and like you say, that noise is just communication. So as health coaches, what I think we learn to do is how to translate that body symptoms into the language so that our clients can understand their bodies more. And instead of trying to quiet the noise with, say, Advil and all the things that we do, and that, we actually learn how to feed our body in ways so that it has its needs met and doesn't have to be in like whining like a little 3-year-old to get your attention.
Yes. And I was about to say my podiatrist was really amazed how fast my foot healed, but he kept me in my boot anyways.
Well, best to have good alignment while it's healing anyway.
Exactly. So why don't we talk about your offer for my audience today?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I'm very pleased to get to be on the show. And I wanted to make an offer to anybody who gets to watch this little episode. I will be traveling for the winter. So I'm going to be in India. So my time zones are going to be completely opposite than here in the United States. So I'm going to be offering a recorded 15-minute free introduction to your personal iridology Eyenalysis. If you go to my website at bodytemplehealth.com, you can go ahead and follow the link to book with me. Make a note that you've seen me on the Debbie Saves Lives show, and I will be sure to schedule that accordingly and get that to you through an email. So you'll be the process is that you'll also get a video tutorial on how to take a video with still shots of your iris, okay? And looking at your eye and then being able to send that to me in an email. I will look that over, do a 15-minute video and audio recording, and send that to you. If you have additional questions or want to schedule an in-person, in-depth appointment, then we can go from there. And if you do want to see my book, feel free to find it on Amazon. Look under the author, Cara Ringland, and you will find the Kindle is there as well as the book. And we created a workbook so that you can help yourself with prompts on daily self-care practices. It also has all of our recipes at the back of the book and the charts for easy use.
Well, that's wonderful. I've been considering buying your book, as well. So, but we will connect. So, would you be a guest again on my show?
I would love to come, Debbie. It's been such an honor to get to spend an afternoon. It feels like having a tea date.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be closing up, this portion of the show, but I want you to come back for closing remarks,
Okay.
and we'll talk more then. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset, and I do help you correct your gut by guiding you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutritional products that reduce symptoms. You'll feel better, and it will uplift your mood and positively release weight. With my mindset coaching, I do work with mindset, with core beliefs, also, as well as releasing stress, reducing emotions and entanglements in the past. Your mindset will be more enhanced. And with my weight release and my optimizing health coaching, your body will be more efficient. And, set up an appointment. Ask me about my programs and my complimentary consultation button and set up an appointment. And when you do, at debiechangeslives.com/linktree, you'll get to know me, I get to know you, and I'll guide you to your optimal health. And it first starts with 1 or 2 assessments. And the first one is actually complimentary. It's a health evaluation. And you can go to the next slide where you can rate your symptoms in 4 categories of health. Some questions are duplicated. You'll get a health score. I'll review it with you. And then I also will, if you move forward with my services, I'll give you a custom natural holistic strategy, and we will monitor your progress. Plus, I also offer Zyto body scans, and I provided the Zyto link, and because I can do it remotely, internationally. I actually sent one to South Africa. And what it is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send a link to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's only looking at blood flow for components of emotional, energetic, and functional in different body systems and lifestyles, and it will generate a wellness report, not a diagnosis. And what I'll do is I'll review it with you because it's quite intensive. Right now it's $50, but the price will go up. And once I review it with you, if you move forward with any of my programs or products, I'll give you a $25 discount. Now, Zyto Link is a transdermal optical imaging app known as TOI. You can look that up at pubmed.gov. I also give you a package of 5 scans for the price of 4, and you save $50. People are really amazed what their body tells them through the scan, and you'll be too. Curious? Get one done. On my site, on my next slide, you'll see my programs. Take Your Body Back is that 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you're going to be using a new version of you to drive you for your success. All coaching is done on Zoom. And the first one's private to you because I go over your health. I also give you a choice between 2 meal plans, give you directions on the one that you chose, and also instructions on how to create that new version of you and an avatar board that will drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health transformational goals throughout your journey. The rest of the coaching, whether it's in group or private, will be celebrating your wins, and I'll give you over your gaps with health and mindset tips. You will become a new you. Here you can ask me questions at the consultation, and you can also watch a previous episode, Holistic Self-Love, for more detailed information. But my price of my programs have gone up. Why Fast is an intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming in turn, boosts your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition, high-quality nutrients, and exercises and recipes. Remember, intermittent fasting will also help you repair your cells and bring down inflammation. You can ask me questions, and you can use either a 2 or 4 week program to get yourself going on it. And if you want to continue with coaching, you may. Now, with my mindset coaching and health optimization coaching, you can use these smaller programs, but usually that's a little bit of a long-term option to do these services. So you may want to save money getting a longer term package, but I'll also create custom packages too. And I have my Back Friday special, and I already described the Take Your Body Back program, but this is on a 50% off the private coaching for the weight release mindset coaching, and you're utilizing the new version of you for your success. Ask me questions now because the discount will end on November 30th of this year, 2024. So get your discount and get healthier. And for a limited time, I'm offering Debi's Coaching Chats, which is a complimentary 30-minute coaching session in an intimate group setting. It's not recorded. And I will be utilizing a survey to pick a topic for that particular meeting. You can learn to optimize your health, ways to release stress and emotions, efficiently release weight, how to harmonize your hormones. And there's also, creating a winning mindset, and also directions on how to create that avatar board. This meeting is on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You need to be registered for it at Debi Changes Lives, DebiChangesLive as in Victor ES.com/chats this time. And when you do, you'll know what my coaching is all about. And finally, learn more about alternative health programs, products, and services, as well as upcoming shows, promos, and events by subscribing to my newsletter, which is DebiChangesLives.com, this time /radio TV show, all in lowercase as one word. And I give you a 30-day health and mindset journal where you can record your gratitude, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, the foods you ate, the water you drank, the nutritional products you took, and exercise done on a daily basis, even track your measurements. Utilize this and review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to see your wins and also find your, gaps. And if you need help with your gaps, I'm more than happy to help you. I'm certain you found this show educational, eye-inspiring, and enjoyed it. Reach out to me for my programs and products and services, and reach out to Cara for her offer and her book. Do we have some time for a closing remark for Cara today?
Yes, hello. And I just wanted to remind everybody that if you've seen me on this show and any of the suggestions that I've made today, or do make in any of the calls or the appointments that are made through this show, we want to make sure to go back to you, Debbie, for facilitating this beautiful platform. And that's one thing about, especially within the longevity brand, we always want to take care of each other that way. And I want to say thank you so much for inviting me. It's incredible to see how we're all starting to work on the core, which is giving ourselves the building blocks so we have healthy cells. And we have so many new technologies available. Just hearing about these Zytoscans, it's incredible. What a day and age to be here in the field of natural health.
Well, thank you. And we'll have you back on the show again.
Okay.
Okay, so continue to enjoy my radio and TV show, Debbie Changes Lives, on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.